Have you ever looked at your life and thought there's got to be more than this? More than the bills, more than the routine, more than just waking up tired, going to bed disappointed, and repeating it all tomorrow? What if I told you, you're not broken, you're just not finished. Your struggle isn't a sign you're lost. It's proof you're still in the process. This isn't the end of your story. In fact, it might be the beginning of your comeback. So don't scroll, don't click away, because what you're about to hear might just wake up the fire in you that life tried to put out. Welcome to the channel where we don't sugarcoat struggle, but we don't glorify giving up either. This isn't about perfect lives or perfect timing. This is about real people, real setbacks, and real breakthroughs. Inspired by the powerful words of Steve Harvey and the unshakable truth that your dream doesn't have an expiration date, we're here to remind you that success isn't a miracle, it's a process. A brutal, beautiful, soul-stretching process that requires pain, patience, and persistence. In this series, we'll walk you through 10 raw, unfiltered truths that help Steve Harvey rise from living in a car to becoming one of the most beloved voices in entertainment, and more importantly, a man who never forgot where he came from. You'll hear stories of rock bottom, moments of doubt, and the voice of faith that kept whispering, "Don't turn back." So if you're tired of empty motivation and ready for something real, if you're chasing a dream but the road feels longer than ever, if you've been told you're too old, too late, or not enough, you're in the right place. But here's the deal. This message, this energy, this movement, we wanted to reach people who need it. People like you, people like me, people who are one word away from rising again. So if you believe that pain has purpose, if you're ready to stop existing and start living, if something inside you says, "I'm not done yet," subscribe right now. Click that button, turn on the bell, and join the community of fighters, dreamers, and late bloomers who aren't giving up. Because in this world, everyone talks about success, but not everyone's willing to talk about the climb. We are. Let's rise together. Part 1. Life is a journey, and I'm the proof it works. I didn't make it because I was special. I didn't rise up because I was chosen. I'm not standing here because some miracle happened overnight. I'm standing here because I held on, because I survived the process, because I kept walking through the fire long after it stopped being glamorous. I am not a miracle, I am a process. There was a time in my life when I had nothing, not figuratively, nothing. I was homeless. I was sleeping in my Karen old beat-up car that smelled like exhaustion and desperation. That car was my bedroom, my kitchen, my refuge, my prison. 3 years of my life passed like that. No roof, no steady meals. Just a dream in my heart and a stubborn refusal to let go of it. Most people didn't see me back then. The world didn't care. You're invisible when you're struggling. You become a ghost. Even the people you thought would be their family, friends, they look away. Or worse, they look through you. They whisper that you've lost your way, that maybe you were never meant for more, that maybe life has already made up its mind about you. But deep down, I knew something no one else could see. I wasn't finished. This wasn't my final form. I wasn't broken. I was becoming. Every great thing in life is a process. A tree doesn't burst out of the ground in a day. A diamond isn't born without pressure. Gold has to go through fire before it shines. So why do we expect our lives to be any different? Why do we pray for purpose but run from the pain that shapes it? Let me be honest. There were nights when I thought I wouldn't make it. I cried myself to sleep in that car more times than I can count. I doubted everything, my talent, my faith, my future. There were mornings when getting up felt like a betrayal to my own fatigue. I was tired, not just physically. I was tired of hoping, tired of being strong, tired of believing in something I couldn't see. But every time I wanted to quit, I reminded myself, this is not the end. This is just part of the journey. The process is ugly. It's lonely. It's unforgiving, but it's also holy, because it's in the process that you're shaped, stripped, sharpened. It's where the real work happens inside you. People love to celebrate the outcome. They see the stage, the spotlight, the success, but they don't see the scars. They don't see the rejection letters, the empty stomachs, the sleepless nights, the nose that nearly broke you. They don't see the moments when the only thing holding you together was a whisper from God saying, "Not yet, hold on, keep going." So when people ask me how I got here, I don't talk about success. I talk about process. Because that's the part no one claps for, but it's the part that matters most. Anyone can celebrate when they win. But who are you when you're losing? Who are you when there's no applause, no recognition, no proof that your efforts are working? I was a man with no home and a head full of dreams. And somehow that was enough. Not because I had all the answers, but because I was willing to take the next steep on, painful, uncertain, faith-filled step at a time. I want you to hear this. You don't need a miracle. You need to survive the process. You need to show up when it's hard. Stay focused when it's slow. Believe when there's no evidence. You need to trust that what you're becoming is more powerful than what you've lost. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. You just have to keep moving. Because the process only fails when you stop walking through it. You're not stuck. You're in progress. People will write you off. Let them. People will doubt you. Let them. People will ask, what makes you think you can make it? Tell them, because I'm still standing. Because you are still breathing. Because no matter how dark it gets, you haven't given up. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you dangerous. You're not here because it was easy. You're here because you didn't quit. So don't let where you are fool you. Just because it's dark doesn't mean it's over. Some seeds only grow in the deep. Some breakthroughs only come after breakdowns. Some victories only come to those who are willing to bleed for them. I am not here because I had a perfect life. I'm here because I refuse to settle for a broken one. I am not a miracle. I am a man who went through hell and came out with purpose. You don't have to be chosen to be great. You don't need someone's permission. All you need is a dream that won't let go of you and the courage to keep chasing it even when you're crawling. You are not your failure. You are not your past. You are not the worst thing that ever happened to you. You are a process, a work in progress. And if you trust that, if you honor that, if you fight for that, then one day they'll look at you and say, wow, what a miracle. But you'll know the truth. You weren't a miracle. You were the process. Part 2, your mind is a factory and you're the one in charge. Your mind is not just a space where thoughts float in and out. It's a machine, a factory. And like every factory, it's working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you realize it or not. And here's the part most people never understand. You are the one in charge. You are the boss of the factory, the CEO, the foreman. Every thought you think, that's an order being sent down the line. Inside this factory, there are 2 departments sewn for positive thoughts and 1 for negative ones. On each side, there are millions of workers ready to follow instructions. They don't question. They don't analyze. They don't filter. They simply take the command you give and get to work producing thoughts, emotions, attitudes, and ultimately outcomes that align with what you said. Think about that for a moment. When you wake up in the morning and say, I don't feel like myself today. I'm tired. It's going to be a rough one. You've just placed an order in the negative department. That foreman stands up, claps his hands, and shouts to his crew, all right, boys, the boss says it's going to be a rough one. Get moving. And suddenly your day starts building itself around that thought. Now, every red light feels longer. Every coworker seems more annoying. Every minor problem feels like a major burden. Your coffee doesn't taste right. Your clothes don't fit right. You walk into the world dragging the weight you created with a single sentence. And by the end of the day, when you collapse on the couch and think, wow, what a terrible day, it's not life that made it terrible. It's the order you gave your mind. But here's the beautiful part. You can place a different order. You can wake up and say, today's going to be a good day. I don't know what's coming, but I'm ready for it. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm expecting something good. That message reaches the positive department. The foreman on that side jumps up with energy, calls out to his crew and says, let's get to work. The boss is expecting a great day. Suddenly things start to feel different. You're still in traffic, but the music hits right. You're still at the same job, but you find one thing to be grateful for. The barista smiles at you and it actually matters. You start noticing what's working instead of what's missing. The world didn't change, you did. Your thoughts changed and your life followed. Your mind is loyal, but it's not wise. It doesn't decide what's best for you. It simply obeys. It follows your lead. And every single thought you allow, every I can't, every this won't work, every I'm not enough is building your reality, one brick at a time. You think you're just complaining, you're building, you think you're just venting, you're reinforcing. Every word is a design, every thought is a blueprint, every reaction is a command. So let me ask you this. What are you building? Are you building peace or chaos, confidence or insecurity, possibility or limitation? The answer lies in your habits, in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you start your mornings, walk through your days, in your nights. And I'll be honest with you, it's easy to let the negative foreman run the show. It's easy to let fear write the script. That department is loud. It feeds off drama, stress, complaints. It gives you something to feel right about even when you're wrong. It'll tell you, you're tired, you're stuck, you'll never make it. But here's the truth, you can fire that foreman. You can retrain your mind. Not overnight, not perfectly, but intentionally. You can pause in the middle of a negative thought and say, that's not the order I want to place. You can stop yourself mid-complaint and choose a better narrative. You can speak life into your day before the day has a chance to shape you. That's what mentally strong people do. Not because they don't feel pain, not because they're in denial, but because they've learned to lead their minds instead of being led by them. Your mind is the most powerful tool you'll ever have, but only if you learn how to use it. Otherwise, it will use you. And let me be real. This isn't about fake positivity. This isn't about pretending everything is okay when it's not. This is about ownership, about being the kind of person who looks life in the face and says, you don't get to define my attitude, I do. Because when you take control of your thoughts, you take control of your life. Every day, you're training your mind. Whether you mean to or not, every time you say, I'm not good at this, you're reinforcing that belief. Every time you say, this always happens to me, you're giving it power. But the moment you say, I'm learning, I'm growing, this is just temporary, you start rewriting the script. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes, the stronger the positive workers get. The quieter the negative voices become, until one day you realize you're not just surviving your day, you're designing it. Your thoughts are not innocent. They are not neutral. They are creative forces. They are spiritual assignments. They are the roots of every outcome in your life. And if you don't like the fruit, you need to change the seed. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, I'm stuck, remember, you're not stuck. You're just giving orders to the wrong team. Call in a new foreman. Choose new language. Think higher. Speak life. Because this factory of yours, it's under your command, and what you think today becomes your life tomorrow. Part 3, success comes from the jump. There comes a moment in every person's life when they're standing on the edge, not a physical edge, but an invisible one-way decision point, a place where the life you know ends and the life you could live begins. And in that moment, you're faced with a question. Will you jump? Most people don't. They hesitate. They back away. They convince themselves the timing isn't right, that the plan isn't ready, that they're not ready. But what they're really saying, what they're really feeling is fear. Fear of falling. Fear of failure. Fear of leaving behind the comfort of what they've always known. But here's the truth that many never realize. You'll never fly until you jump. Success, real soul-shaking, purpose-driven success doesn't come from standing still. It doesn't come from waiting for the perfect conditions or sitting back hoping someone else will hand you a dream. It comes from stepping into the unknown, from launching yourself off the cliff of comfort and trusting that the gift God gave you will open like a parachute and carry you to where you were always meant to be. But here's the part nobody likes to talk about. The parachute doesn't open right away. The moment you jump, it's chaos. The wind rushes past your ears, your heart pounds, your vision blurs, you start to question everything. What did I just do? You feel the weight of the unknown pressing in on you. And then come the rocks. You hit a few on the way down, you get bruised, scraped up, maybe even broken a little. You bleed, you cry. You wonder if this jump was a mistake, and that's when most people quit. That's when they try to climb back up, or worse, they never jump again. But those who hold on, those who keep falling with faith in their heart, they're the ones who reach the moment when it all shifts. The moment when just as you think you've got nothing left, the parachute opens. Suddenly you're not falling anymore, you're soaring. Not because it's easy now, but because you're finally aligned with your calling. You're finally using what was placed inside you from the start, your gift. That thing you do effortlessly, the talent you were born with, the strength that lives in you, even when everything else seems to be falling apart. That gift is your parachute. And it's been waiting for you to trust it. You see, God doesn't promise that the jump will be painless. He promises that the parachute will open. That's not a motivational quote. It's a spiritual truth. The leap of faith is terrifying, but the reward is real. And the only way to reach it is by taking the jump despite the fear, despite the risk, despite the unknown. You weren't put on this earth just to survive. You weren't born to go through the motions, to wake up, punch a clock, go to bed, and repeat. You were born to live, to feel fire in your chest, wind in your hair, purpose in your bones. But you'll never feel that on safe ground. You'll only feel it in midair with your heart racing and your gift unfurling like wings behind you. We all have a cliff. It looks different for each of us. For some, it's starting that business you've been dreaming about. For others, it's walking away from a job or relationship that's holding you back. Maybe it's telling your story, stepping on a stage, writing that book, launching that idea. You know what your cliff is. You've been staring at it. You felt it calling you. But every time you get close, fear tells you to turn around. Don't listen. Fear is loud, but is not truthful. Fear exaggerates. Fear limits. Fear makes the cliff look higher than it is. But God gave you your gift not to keep it hidden, but to use it, to trust it. And the only way to use it is to jump. You don't need a full plan. You don't need everyone's approval. You don't need to feel completely confident. All you need is 1 second of insane courage. One moment where you silence the doubt, quiet the noise, and say, I'm going. And once your feet leave the ground, once you commit, the process begins. Yes, it will hurt, but it will grow you. Yes, it will shake you, but it will shape you. And yes, 4, your gift is from God, not from a degree. You might fall before you fly, but eventually you will fly. The people you admire, the ones who seem like they've made it, they didn't get there because they were fearless. They got there because they jumped anyway. They chose faith over comfort. They chose movement over safety. And that choice made all the difference. You have that choice too. So if today you find yourself standing at the edge, I want you to know that your hesitation is human, but it doesn't have to be your final answer. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to keep wondering, what if? You can know, you can leap. And yes, you might fall, but you'll also rise. Because success, the kind that changes lives and shifts legacies, never happens without the jump. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, make all the plans, but at some point you have to leave the ground. You have to trust that the gift inside you is strong enough to carry you through the air, even if you don't feel ready. And trust might is. So jump. Do it afraid. Do it unsure. Do it without applause. But whatever you do, don't stand still. Because the life you're dreaming of, the one that's waiting for you, it's not on the ledge, it's in the leap. Let's get something straight right now. Education is important, but it is not everything. That might not be what your teachers told you. It might not be what society taught you, but it's the truth. School teaches you information. It gives you tools. It helps you navigate systems, but it does not define who you are. What defines you, what sets you apart, what unlocks the door to your future is something much deeper. It's the thing you were born with. The thing you can do better than anyone else with the least amount of effort. That right there is your gift. And your gift, not your degree, is what will carry you toward your true calling. I know plenty of people with fancy degrees who are lost. They got the diploma, they got the job, they checked every box that was handed to them, and still they're unfulfilled. They're burned out. They're wondering why life doesn't feel as meaningful as they hoped. And it's because they're not living inside their gift. They're working in their credentials, but not in their calling. On the other hand, I've seen people with no college education, no certifications, no letters after their name absolutely thriving. Why? Because they tapped into the thing they were meant to do. They discovered what God placed inside them and ran with it. And that gift made room for them. That gift opened doors a resume never could. Don't get me wrong, learning is beautiful. Knowledge is powerful. If you have the chance to study, go for it. Absorb every bit of wisdom you can. But never, ever confuse education with identity. Your degree is what you've done. Your gift is who you are. And here's the difference. A degree might get you in the door, but it's your gift that keeps you in the room. So how do you know what your gift is? It's simple. Your gift is the thing that feels natural to you but amazes other people. It's the thing you do without thinking. The thing people come to you for again and again, even if they don't know how to explain why. It's that sense of ease, that zone you enter where time disappears and everything just clicks. You're not trying hard, you're not pretending, you're just being. And in that space, you're powerful. You don't have to force your gift. You don't have to chase it. It's already in you. You were born with it. It was designed for you, tailored to your voice, your energy, your fingerprint on this world. But most people miss it because they're too busy chasing someone else's definition of success. They're busy collecting degrees, stacking accolades, trying to look the part while their real power sits unused, unnoticed, unlived. And that's the real tragedy. Because a gift left unopened is a life left unfinished. Let me say it again. Your gift is enough. You don't have to dress it up. You don't have to explain it to people who don't get it. You just have to use it. And when you do, something powerful happens. You come alive. Work doesn't feel like work. Time doesn't feel wasted. You stop surviving and start thriving. I know this from experience. I didn't finish college. I didn't have a polished resume, but I had a gift. I could make people laugh. I could take pain and turn it into something that healed. I didn't understand it fully at first. I didn't know how to monetize it or explain it to others, but I knew that when I was using it, I felt alive, and when I stepped fully into it, things began to change. Was it easy? But it was worth it. Because when you live inside your gift, even the struggle feels purposeful. Even the rejection feels like redirection. You stop begging the world to notice you and start focusing on becoming the version of yourself that God created you to be. And the world, it responds. It might not happen right away. There might be resistance, but eventually the right doors open, the right people show up, the right opportunities align. Because you're no longer hustling for your worth, you're walking in it. That's the power of a God-given gift. It's not a skill you learn, it's a calling you answer. It's not something you have to prove. It's something you embody, and here's the secret. When you honor your gift, you honor the one who gave it to you. You're not just using a talent, you're fulfilling a purpose. You're stepping into divine alignment. And that's where the real success begins. Not just the kind that pays the bills, but the kind that fills your soul. So don't let anyone tell you you're not enough because you don't have a degree. Don't let the titles, the credentials, the status symbols fool you. None of that can replace the raw, undeniable power of a gift fully lived. If you've been ignoring yours, it's time to dust it off. If you've been downplaying it, it's time to own it. If you've been waiting for someone to give you permission, this is it. You were not created to blend in. You were not designed to chase after someone else's dream. You were handcrafted by God with something unique, something valuable, something this world needs. And that's something, that's your gift. So use it, share it, trust it. Because success doesn't come from your credentials, it comes from your calling. And your gift is calling you home. All five. Your dream has to be bigger than your fear. Fear is loud. It whispers in your ear at night and screams in your face in the morning. It tells you you're not ready, not smart enough, not connected enough. It reminds you of everything that could go wrong, everything that might fall apart, everything that could break you. But here's the truth most people never hear. You don't need less fear. You need a bigger dream. Fear doesn't go away. You can't outrun it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist. It will always be there, waiting at the edge of anything that matters. But fear loses its power when your dream is louder. When your vision is so big, so wild, so rooted in purpose that it drowns out the doubt. See, the problem isn't that people are afraid. That's human. The problem is that their dreams are too small. A small dream gives fear room to grow. A small dream fits in a box, easy to manage, easy to explain, easy to abandon. But a big dream, a dream that stretches you, scares you, demands everything from you, that kind of dream will pull you through fear like a ship cutting through a storm. Your dream should intimidate you. It should make your hands sweat and your heart race. It should sound so crazy to others that they laugh and maybe secretly you laugh too. Not because you doubt it, but because it's just that bold, that real, that necessary. That's when you know it's the one, because a dream that doesn't scare you isn't big enough to change you. And that's the point. Your dream isn't just about what you want. It's about who you become on the way to it. It's about what you're willing to fight for, stretch for, cry for. It's about what you're willing to risk. And yes, there will be risk, there will be failure. There will be embarrassment, rejection, moments where you want to disappear. But if the dream is big enough, you'll keep going. Because nothing is more painful than regret. Nothing stings longer than the what if that follows you when you chose comfort over calling. You don't want to get to the end of your life realizing you were always meant for more, but fear talked you out of it. Here's the honest truth. If you don't act because you're afraid of failing, you've already failed. If fear is stopping you, then fear's already won. You're not even in the game. You're just watching from the sidelines, hoping someone else will take the shot you were born to take. But guess what? The dream didn't choose them. It chose you. It lives in your mind. It keeps you up at night. It pulls at your chest when you're alone. It follows you through your daily routine, whispering, there's more. And that whisper will never leaven out until you answer it. You don't need to be fearless to pursue your dream. You just need to be faithful. You need to trust that the one who gave you the vision also gave you what you need to chase it. You don't have to have all the steps. You don't need all the answers. You just need to take the first one. That first step, That's where most people stop. That's where fear tries hardest to grip you. It will remind you of every time you've fallen, every time someone said you weren't enough. But here's what I've learned. Fear is just a signal that you're on the edge of something important. It shows up when you're about to break through. It flares up right before something shifts. So when fear shows up, don't run, lean in. Your courage isn't measured by the absence of fear, but by what you do in spite of it. Do it scared. Do it unsure. Do it anyway. Because courage is action, not feeling. And when you move, even in fear, you grow stronger. Your dream gets louder. Your faith gets deeper. You have something inside you that's meant to change your world or someone else's. But it can't do that while it's locked inside your comfort zone. You have to let it breathe. You have to give it a voice. You have to give it space to expand. Start talking about it. Start planning for it. Start moving toward IT even if the steps are small. Progress kills fear. Movement builds momentum. And momentum silences doubt. But whatever you do, don't wait. Don't wait for the fear to leave. Don't wait till it makes sense. Don't wait till everyone approves. You don't need permission to pursue your purpose. The fact that the dream is inside you is all the permission you need. People might not understand. That's okay. It's not their dream, it's yours. God didn't show them the vision. He showed you. And if he showed it to you, he will make a way. But he's waiting on you to take that first step. He's waiting on you to trust that what he placed in you is greater than what stands against you. And yes, you might fail. You might fall. But failure isn't final unless you quit. In fact, failure is often the very thing that shapes you into the person your dream requires. You grow more in the setbacks than the successes. You learn more in the fall than in the flight. So don't let fear decide your future. Don't let doubt design your destiny. Stand up, speak up, move forward, keep moving, even when your knees shake. Even when the voice in your head says, you're not ready, because you'll never feel ready. You'll just feel called. And that's enough. Your dream is waiting. The world is waiting. Don't let fear be the author of your story. Let your faith be louder. Let your purpose be clearer. Let your dream be bigger. And when fear says, what if you fall? You say, but what if I fly? 6, the power of imagination and why you must protect it from small minds. Your imagination is not just a playground. It's not a child's toy or a whimsical daydream. It is a force one of the most powerful tools God placed within you. Your imagination is the preview, the trailer, the sneak peek of what your life could become. It is the private screening of the future your soul is capable of creating. Everything that has ever been built, invented, written, sung, flown, or dreamed into reality started in the imagination. Every breakthrough, every revolution, every movement, every miracle. Before the world could see it, it lived in someone's mind. The cell phone, someone imagined a world without wires. Airplanes, someone imagined defying gravity. Electricity, light bulbs, the internet, the rocket to the moon, all began as an idea and image that no one else could see. And that's exactly why you must protect your imagination. Because not everyone can see what you see. And some people will try to destroy what they don't understand. Your imagination shows you what could be, not what is, not what's probable, but what's possible. And possibility always threatens people who are married to reality. That's why so many dreams die in the hands of small thinkers. Not because the dream was wrong, but because it was shared with someone who couldn't see past what already exists. Let me be clear. Do not share your dream with small minds. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Not everyone will cheer for your imagination. And not everyone is supposed to. When you tell your dream to someone who doesn't dream, they will dismantle it. They'll chip away at it, not out of hatred, but out of fear. People who never pursue their own dreams will always try to talk you out of yours. Not because they want to hurt you, but because your courage reminds them of what they gave up on. Your boldness becomes a mirror to their regrets. So they'll say things like, that sounds risky. Why would you do that? Be realistic. Don't get your hopes up. That's not how the world works. And the most dangerous part is they sound reasonable. But reasonable advice from a fearful mind is often the most deadly. The greatest things in the world were never built by people who played it safe. They were built by people who dared to imagine something different and protected that vision like their life depended on it. Because in a way it did. Your imagination is sacred. It's not fluff. It's not fiction. It's the seed of your destiny. It's God's way of showing you a picture before it becomes a reality. And when you see it, when you really see it, you can't unsee it. It burns in you. It tugs at your heart. It shows up in your dreams and interrupts your thoughts during the day. That is not a coincidence. That is calling. But here's the hard part. Before the dream becomes real, you must carry it alone. You must nurture it in silence. You must protect it in secret. That's why pregnant women don't announce in the first week. Not because they're ashamed, but because new life needs time to take root. Your imagination is the same. It needs protection while it's fragile, while it's forming, while you're still learning how to believe in it yourself. Because if you expose it too early, if you let doubt in before your faith is strong enough, you may abandon it before it ever has a chance to grow. And that would be a tragedy. Because someone out there is waiting for the very thing you're imagining. That book, that business, that story, that invention, that movement. It's not just for you, it's through you. So guard it. Speak life into it. Water it with action, with prayer, with planning. Feed it with hope. Don't waste energy convincing people to believe in it. You don't need their permission. Their applause isn't required. Imagination is your divine birthright. It's your human superpower. It's what separates you from the machine, from the algorithm, from the static repetition of life. Imagination is movement, energy, fire. It's the difference between living and merely existing. But it comes with responsibility. You must train your imagination. You must keep it clean. If you fill your mind with fear, gossip, and noise, your imagination will starve. If you constantly compare your life to others, you'll stop seeing what's possible for you. Imagination needs silence. It needs solitude. It needs space to breathe. Some of your greatest ideas will come in stillness in the shower, on a walk, in the quiet hours when the world isn't demanding anything from you. Pay attention to those moments. Write them down. Trust them. They're not random. They're roadmaps. And remember this, your imagination won't make sense to everyone. It's not supposed to. It's a private conversation between you and God. A divine whisper that says there's more. More than what you see. More than what you've been told. More than what others settle for. So don't let small minds talk you out of big visions. Don't shrink your dream to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Don't trade your imagination for their validation. It's not worth it. They didn't see what you saw. They weren't given what you were given. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them play it safe. You imagine, you build, you believe, you move. Because one day they'll see what you saw. And they'll say, how did you know? And you'll smile because you remembered what they forgot. Your imagination wasn't a fantasy, it was a preview. And now it's your reality. 8, success is a painful journey, but it's worth every step. Nobody becomes successful without paying a price. Behind every shining stage, best-selling book, breakthrough invention, or inspirational story, you see there's a mountain of pain you don't. Success looks glamorous from the outside. But from the inside, it's a fight. It's lonely, it's terrifying, and above all, it's costly. People want the reward, but they rarely want the sacrifice. They want the destination without the road trip. But here's the raw truth. Success is hard. It demands long nights. It demands faith when you can't see results. It demands getting up after you've been knocked down not once, but over and over again. It asks you to believe in yourself when no one else does. To keep going when the applause has faded, to sacrifice comfort for greatness, and yet failure is also hard. Being broke is hard. Living with regret is hard. Waking up every day feeling like you're stuck in a loop doing something that doesn't light your fire, going nowhere fast, dragging your soul through the mud, that's hard too. Trying to sleep at night knowing you gave up on what you were meant for, that's real pain. So if both paths are hard, why not choose the one with the payoff? See, pain is not optional in life. It's part of the package. But the kind of pain you choose matters. You can choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One builds you, the other breaks you. One strengthens your character, the other eats away at your spirit. Successful people aren't born different. They just choose their heart. They say, this dream is going to hurt, but I'm going to chase it anyway. They trade temporary discomfort for long-term purpose. And that decision is what separates the average from the extraordinary. Nobody talks about the nights you cry alone, or the moments you question everything, or the rejections, the no's, the closed doors, the silent seasons where you give your all and feel like nothing is working, the stretch of time where you feel invisible. That's part of the journey too. That's not a sign to quit, it's a sign you're in the right arena. Every success story has that middle chapter, the one filled with struggle, loss, and doubt. That chapter never gets read at award shows, but it's the one that makes the victory real. Think about it. When you hear someone's story and it's all perfect, does it inspire you? What moves you is when someone says, I was broke, I was broken, I was counted out, but I kept going. That's what hits different. That's what gives people hope, because it reminds us, if they can come through that, maybe we can too. Steve Harvey lived in his car for 3 years before anyone knew his name. Colonel Sanders didn't sell his first franchise until he was in his 60s. Oprah was fired from her first job in television. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers. These are not fairy tales, they are war stories. And every scar told them they were still alive in the fight. You don't get to skip the struggle. You don't get to fast forward to the success. You have to earn it. But here's the thing, they'll never be able to take it from you once you do. The pain you go through on the way to success builds something in you that money can't buy. It gives you grit, perspective, confidence, humility. And when you finally make it, when the door opens, when the moment comes, you'll know you're ready. Because you've already walked through the fire. The struggle refines you. It doesn't define you. And here's another truth. The world is watching how you handle the hard parts. Not how you shine when things go right, but how you carry yourself when everything goes wrong. That's where real leadership is born. That's when you become someone worth following. Don't confuse ease with alignment. Just because something is hard doesn't mean it's wrong. Sometimes the very thing that stretches you is the thing that shapes you. Don't run from the work. Don't hide from the challenge. It's molding you for something greater. Success has a price, but it also has a payoff. Not just in money or fame or status, but in peace, in joy, in fulfillment, in becoming who you were always meant to be. Imagine waking up and knowing you didn't quit, that you pushed through hell and came out on the other side. That your kids, your community, your younger self can look at you and say, they did it. That's a different kind of wealth. So yes, it's going to hurt. You're going to question yourself. You're going to fail. You're going to have people doubt you. But don't let that stop you. Let it fuel you. Let it sharpen your vision. Let it deepen your hunger. Because here's the truth. No one wants to say mediocrity is expensive too. It costs you your time. It costs you your dreams. It costs you your soul. So don't settle for easy. Choose worthy. Choose the hard that leads somewhere. Choose the mountain, not the flat road. Choose the dream, not the detour. And when it gets hard, and it will remember why you started. Remember that staying broke is hard. Staying stuck is hard. Living a life you don't love is hard. So if you're going to hurt, either way, hurt on purpose. Hurt for something bigger than comfort. Hurt for the life you were born to live. Because one day when you look back, you won't remember all the sleepless nights or setbacks. You'll remember the moment you didn't quit, and that moment will be everything. Joe, never turn back. There is no exit door to your dream. Every person chasing a dream, building a vision, or trying to change their life will eventually hit a wall. And in that moment, what Steve Harvey calls the turn back moment, you will be tempted to stop, to give up, to say, maybe this just isn't meant for me. That's the moment that separates those who make it from those who don't. Every success story you've ever heard had that turning point, a moment of unbearable pressure, of complete silence from the world, where nothing seemed to work and the temptation to quit grew louder than the dream itself. And here's the hard truth. Most people turn back. They say, it's too hard. They say, I'm not good enough. They say, maybe I was just chasing a fantasy. And they walk away not because they weren't capable, not because the dream was impossible, because they didn't have a no turning back mentality. See, when you leave an exit door cracked open in your mind, life will push you toward it. The pressure will chase you there. The doubt will drag you toward it. But when you remove that option, when you say, I don't care how bad it gets, I'm not quitting, that's when everything begins to change. Steve Harvey said it best. I didn't give myself permission to turn back. That was the difference. Not talent, not luck, not connections, just a decision, a non-negotiable. When you eliminate plan B, when you take the word quit out of your vocabulary, something inside you shifts. You stop hesitating. You stop bargaining with your circumstances. You start moving like someone who has no choice but to win. And guess what? That energy, that commitment creates momentum. Turning back never gets you there. It just keeps you in the same cycle. Imagine getting in your car every day and setting out for your dream, but halfway there you doubt the route. So you turn around. Then you try again the next day and turn back again. You never arrive not because the destination doesn't exist, but because you never stayed the course. The path to your dream is not a straight line. It's messy, it's unpredictable, and sometimes it feels like it's going nowhere. But if you stay on it, if you keep showing up, keep taking one more step, you'll look up one day and realize you've crossed oceans you once thought would drown you. But that can't happen if you keep running at the first sign of trouble. You're going to have moments of failure. You're going to hear no. You're going to lose money, lose friends, lose confidence. But if you keep standing, keep choosing not to turn back, you'll gain something stronger than all of that. You'll gain resilience, faith, fire. Think about it. If you quit now, you'll spend the rest of your life wondering, what if? And the weight of that regret will be far heavier than any challenge you're facing today. When you feel like you've hit the end, you haven't. You've just hit the beginning of growth. You're being tested, not punished. Every great success story is built in these quiet, painful, uncertain spaces. The truth is, it's supposed to be hard. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But not everybody is willing to not quit. That's your advantage. Burn the bridge behind you. Remove the backup plan. Make it so that your only direction is forward. That kind of mindset does something radical. It forces your creativity, your willpower, your faith to rise. It forces you to become more than you were. And it transforms your life not just externally, but internally. Turning back may seem easier in the moment, but it never brings peace. It only brings delay. Every time you stop, the dream gets further away. The finish line moves. And worst of all, you start believing the lie that you're not meant for more. But you are. If you weren't, the vision wouldn't be burning inside you. If you weren't, you wouldn't feel this pull towards something bigger. If you weren't, you wouldn't be reading this right now. The calling on your life is proof that you're equipped to answer it. The fear is just static. The failure is just feedback. The doubt is just the devil whispering, go back where it's safe. Don't listen. There is no safety in quitting. There is no comfort in compromise. There is no peace in playing small. There is only one way, forward. Every time life pushes you, dig deeper. Every time the storm hits, anchor yourself in the why. Every time you feel like turning back, remind yourself, there is no other way. This is your path, your destiny, your purpose. You may be tired, but you're not done. You may be shaken, but you're still standing. You may not see the finish line, but every step forward is a declaration, I'm not turning back. And one day, the fog will lift. The doors will open. The people who doubted you will wish they believed earlier. But none of that will matter as much as this. You didn't quit. You stayed. You fought. You endured. And because of that, you won. So the next time the turn back moment creeps in, smile. That's your signal. Not to run, not to retreat, but to rise. Because when you have no reverse gear, the only thing left to do is fly. 10, age is not a barrier. If you're still breathing, God's not done with you. We live in a world obsessed with speed, fast success. Young CEOs, 20-somethings with six-figure followings. People love to celebrate those who make it early as if that's the only timeline that matters. But here's the truth. No one tells you success has no expiration date. Age isn't a wall, it's a myth, a mental construct. A lie we've all been sold, one that whispers it's too late. One that says if you haven't made it by a certain age, you never will. But that's not God talking, that's fear. The clock doesn't determine your calling. Your past doesn't decide your potential. Your gray hair isn't a sign of decline, it's a sign you've endured, you've learned, you've grown, you're still here. And as long as you're still waking up in the morning, you're not finished yet. Let me remind you of a man named Colonel Harlan Sanders. You know him as the face of KFC, the white suit, the secret recipe, the empire of fried chicken that feeds millions around the globe. But here's what you may not know. He didn't sell his first franchise until he was in his 60s. That's right. He'd spent most of his life bouncing between job steamboat operator, insurance salesman, filling station owner. He'd been fired, overlooked, dismissed. He was sleeping in his car, carrying pressure cookers in the trunk, and driving from town to town trying to convince restaurants to give his chicken recipe a shot. He was rejected over 1,000 times. But he didn't quit. He didn't say, I'm too old for this. He didn't believe the lie that his best years were behind him. Instead, he believed in the value of what he had. He believed that it wasn't over. And eventually someone said yes. That yes turned into a franchise. That franchise turned into a legacy. Today, KFC is one of the most recognized food brands on earth, and it all started after 60. If Colonel Sanders had listened to the world's timeline, he'd be a forgotten name. But instead, he listened to a deeper truth. If you're still breathing, God's not done with you. And that truth applies to you too. Maybe you've spent decades raising kids or working a job you didn't love. Maybe life didn't go the way you planned. Maybe you gave up a dream so long ago you forgot what it felt like to believe in it. But I'm here to tell you it's not too late. You still have something to give. You still have wisdom that the world needs. You still have dreams that matter. You're not running out of time. You're finally seasoned enough to use it wisely. What's beautiful about later in life success is that it's grounded, it's rooted. It doesn't get distracted by the shiny or shaken by the superficial. It's built on experience, not hype, and that kind of success is the kind that lasts. Don't let society's obsession with youth make you question your worth. You are not behind. You're not forgotten. You're just in a different chapter, and this one might be your most powerful yet. Think about it. Moses didn't lead the Israelites out of Egypt until he was 80. Grandma Moses didn't start painting until she was in her 70s. Morgan Freeman didn't become a household name until he was in his 50s. Vera Wang didn't design her first dress until she was 40. What do all these stories tell us? That purpose doesn't retire. Your calling doesn't expire. Your gift doesn't wither with age. Your dream doesn't come with a deadline. If anything, the years behind you have prepared you for the power of this moment. You're wiser, you're stronger, you've failed, you've healed. You've learned what matters. And now it's time to rise. But here's the catch. You have to believe it. You have to reject the lie that age disqualifies you. You have to stop looking at the calendar and start looking at the calling. You have to remember that the only people who ever change the world are the ones who decide it's not too late to try. When you wake up each day, no matter your age, you are waking up with divine permission to keep going. That breath in your lungs is God's signature saying, I'm not done with you yet. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. It's a sign. So don't waste time mourning the years that are gone. Don't stay stuck in the regret of what didn't happen. Don't look in the mirror and see. Too late, look in the mirror and see ready. Because you are ready to build, ready to inspire, ready to create, ready to walk boldly into everything God still has for you. You're not starting over, you're starting wiser. And if there's anything this world needs more of, it's people who've lived, who've endured, who know what it means to keep showing up when life gets hard. That's you. You're not a rookie. You're a warrior. So wear your age like a badge of honor, not something to hide, but something to celebrate. Every wrinkle, a story, every scar, a lesson, every birthday, a victory. You've already overcome more than most people will ever know. Now it's your turn to show what happens when you refuse to quit, when you keep dreaming, when you keep climbing. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you're meant to live is the belief that it's still possible. So believe it. And the next time someone asks if you think it's too late, smile and say, as long as I'm still breathing, God's still writing. If life has taught us anything, it's that the journey is rarely straight. There are detours, heartbreaks, silent battles no one sees. But the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still searching, means your story isn't over. Maybe you've fallen, maybe you failed, but you're not finished. You're being formed. Every crack in you is how the light gets in. And maybe, just maybe, that pain was never meant to break you, but to build you. Stronger, wiser, realer. See, greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's just the decision to keep going. Even when no one claps, even when no one sees, even when you feel like you're walking alone. But you're not alone. You've got a community right here of people who still believe, still dream, still fight for something bigger. So if this message spoke to you, if it lit something in you you thought was gone, hit that subscribe button, not for the algorithm, for your future, because every week we'll be here, not just telling stories, but reminding you of your own power. And remember this, as long as you wake up in the morning, God's not done with you yet. Let's keep walking. Let's keep rising together